Welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. I hope you've all had a great weekend and a great week since we last seen you. I hope we can help lead the way even more today. Because today, you're going to meet now a good friend, Shaun Piggott, a man whose story cuts right through the noise. On the outside, business growth, big ambition, building teams, and the pressure of feeling like it's all on your shoulders. But underneath, the real battle, people pleasing, living two lives, addiction, and those moments where the darkness feels louder than hope. In part one, Shaun and I talk about what actually drives transformation, pain, pleasure, and the moment you finally decide, hey, I can't keep living like this. We get into morning routines, gratitude, and why business has a way of exposing what you haven't healed yet. Before we jump in, only 39% of you listening actually follow the show, so please go and hit the follow. And if you can leave a review, it really helps like you can't even imagine. Anyway, here's Shaun's incredible story. Here's Shaun and myself. Enjoy. This is part one of part two this week, by the way. Enjoy and have a good one. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. I'm your host, Andrew White, and this is the podcast that unveils captivating narratives of resilience and personal triumph. This podcast is for anyone seeking inspiration and insights on overcoming life's challenges. Follow and subscribe, and then we can lead together forever. Before we dive in, I want to give a big, massive shout out to our now new proud sponsor, Eshu Skincare, a brand that truly aligns with Leading Our Own Way. This Australian-born company is dedicated to keeping skincare simple, effective, and straightforward. They've made waves in the US, even landed in Macy's and over 300 stores, and now they're back with a renewed focus on healthy skin and real results. If you want authentic skincare that fits your lifestyle, check them out in the show notes. Thanks to Eshu Skincare for supporting real stories and mental fitness on Leading Our Own Way. And if you're interested in sponsoring like Eshu Skincare, drop us a message. We'd love to connect. Good evening, Shaun Piggott. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way for the second time. How are we?
Thank you, Andy. Really appreciate you having me on. And for the second time, I'm doing well.
For those who are tuning in, this is the actual second time we're recording the first 5 minutes. So the first 5 minutes, if you are watching, the display's slightly different since Shaun and I recorded. We actually recorded in February, and we recorded for about 5 minutes, and there was just a horrible, bloody echo coming from Shaun's end. So we'll blame Shaun, everybody. We'll blame Shaun.
I'll take that.
No, I'm only joking. It was just a quick fix, wasn't it? We ended the recording, we fixed it up. So if people think things have moved in the studios, and Shaun he's looking a bit dapper tonight as well, because are we allowed to announce what's going on in your life right now?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, okay, definitely.
Well, we can tell us.
So we are 4 weeks away from having our first child.
Congratulations, Shaun. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm very much looking forward to this. It's something that I've really wanted for a very long time. I was never in the right place within my own internal self, but also external world to bring a child into the world. And as you'll hear in my story, there was obviously, different moments in life when that could have happened and it didn't. And I'm glad. I guess the beauty of life is that in hindsight, you can only live your life moving forward, but it only makes sense when you look backwards. So in hindsight, obviously looking backwards, I'm extremely grateful that I got the opportunity to have this life, or this phase of my life now, rather than have it when I thought it was right and I thought I wanted it then. So very grateful that it's worked out in this fashion, and with this with the right partner, and my wife. So very, very exciting.
Well, congratulations once again. It's absolutely incredible news. It's something we didn't actually bring up last time in the beginning part. And throughout this episode, obviously, we don't mention that, do we? So I'm glad we brought that up, because people, when they hear your journey, that will make sense why it was never the right time for you, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I'm glad we brought that up. We can see into the future tonight.
Exactly right.
Because back if we were recording in February, what we were joking about, because I listened back to it, we were joking about the weather because we just had a tornado run through the house maybe a week and a half before. I was
Yeah.
hacked and lost all my personal social media of 20 years Facebook, 10 years of Instagram. I was like, no. So it was,
Can you imagine like anyone that's, you know, has built a decent sort of following and has spent their time doing that, and you obviously have,
yeah.
um, become such a big part of, you know, your professional world as well as your social world. And yeah, to have that, I guess, removed, it's confronting to say the least, and
Yeah.
you feel like loss.
Well, at least it wasn't my Leading Our Own Way Instagram
That's
page.
right. Yeah, you kept that.
I kept that one. It was my Facebook because it was attached to my personal one. But there you go. It is what it is. I lost all my people that I met traveling the world and photos people tagged me. But luckily, I've got all my photos because they're all saved on an external hard drive and things like that. But yeah, you miss those little people that, not little people, but those people that came into the cracks of corner of your life that you might have met in a cafe and you just had a great conversation. They're gone. I'll probably never get that back. But that's okay. We start fresh. I'm okay, everybody. I've survived and I'm clean and I'm good. So there we go.
You started
And since filming, you might be wondering why there's a shoe on this part. Nobody's ever seen this, so I might as well announce it now. But I've just interviewed the number one pro basketball dunker in the world, Mr. Jordan Kilgannon. But this episode's not going to come out till like August, September. But there's a shoe there, and he just sent them to me last week. So, people, you're going to see this for the next few minutes before I cut this off and we go back to the original episode.
That's amazing.
May as well plug it. Hey, Sean, may as well plug it.
May as well, yeah. Why
There we
don't you
go.
have the number one dunker's shoe on your bookshelf?
Exactly right. Right. So, looking at my notes, Sean, because we can joke about it now. Looking at my notes, I asked you if you could put your episode and your journey into some powerful words of where you're going to take us there. You imagine your newspaper cutout and the front cover of your journey, and there was a newspaper about you and your journey. What words would you choose to put on the front cover of that paper?
It's a great question. I think for me, like, reflection is such a big part of being able to move forward in my life. And I think the ability to transform your life from the inside out, and I guess it happens internally first, and you recreate your world, and then it extends into your outer world. So I guess transforming from the inside to the outside is such a relevant phrase for me, because it doesn't show up on the outside world until you've done all the inner work.
Yeah.
And that's really, I guess that's where it all begins. It starts with you. Every new direction is something that you've chosen to take internally before you see any results on the outside, and before the rest of the world sees anything. So I guess the transformation side of things is such a strong element in my life, is as you'll hear in the story, in my story, that it's basically, transforming how you live your life from one end to the very other.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly where you do end up taking us, because we already know what you said on the episode. So you definitely take us down there, don't you, for sure?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
With everything where you're at now, then I know you got some incredible things going in your life, and everyone's going to be very crystal clear what you do very, very soon in terms of your professional life, personal development, and what you give to the world as well, because it's absolutely beautiful. Where would you say because I love this question, it's one of my favorite questions at the moment. I'm sticking with it until I kind of want to move away from it. But what is if a mental health scale from 0 being rock bottom and 10 being content? I love the word contentment. I'm doing a bit of a talk on contentment very soon. Where would you say you lie on that scale right now?
Right now, I would have to say I'm probably an 8.5 to a 9. I'm very much in a great place mentally. Probably the best place I've ever been. I have a lot of things going on externally, but the capacity that I've now been able to build to handle those things, and not let it, I guess, not that it doesn't affect you. Obviously, things still affect you,
Of course, yeah.
but your ability to handle so many moving parts and big decisions and financial things, and I guess like the baby coming and team members and team members in different businesses and different structures in a business, and there's just so many different things that happen in a day, let alone a week. But the capacity that I've created in my life to be able to handle that, through the discipline that I've created, and I also think like the operating structures that I have in my life, not just in like I put operating structures in my businesses to make sure that I'm able to have the bandwidth that I need to be able to get things to me how I need them so I can make better decisions quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think building those things has been such an important thing as well, because when you do have so many things happening at one time in so many different areas, I guess getting the information the way you need it is really important, and you have to put those structures in place.
Yeah, absolutely. So the same question goes to you again on where you think your mental health scale. If you imagine you're the bottom of the journey explaining this episode today, where will you take us on that scale to be? Where was the lowest point you went to, do you think?
That element of my life, yeah, that area of my life, I definitely hit rock bottom. Like, it was a time in my life where everything had fallen apart and there was nowhere else to turn. Like,
Yeah.
that was it. There's no other solution. There was nowhere else to run. It was literally, you're faced with the death of yourself. And that was very confronting, obviously. But yeah, you literally couldn't go any further down, and the only way, you can't, there's no other hiding doors to get out of. Like, this is it. So yeah, it's definitely rock bottom was a few highlight events in my life that really, really took me there. And it wasn't until I started to understand that, I guess it's an element of extreme accountability, and the fact that I got myself there, which also means I can get myself out of that.
Good point. Yeah. It's funny, rock bottoms are
a quick way out, but it is what it is. So
yeah, absolutely. And rock bottom is, I find that one, it's quite interesting. Rock bottom, isn't it? Yeah, it's weird when we say we can't get any further, and I think rock bottom's an interesting one because the more I've interviewed people, I've learned that through other people's journeys, that a lot of guests have always been at zero or rock bottom as they seem or feel to be, but then they've always found another way to dig a bit deeper into that rock, if that, you know what I mean?
It's definitely a excavation process is definitely what I would call it. Rock bottom is it is a thing, but I really believe it's when you're actually so fed up with your own self and the way you're living your life that's when you want to put the effort in to change. I don't think it's, obviously there's external parts to your life that we don't control, and these things impact, I guess, a lot of our decisions and how we end up making decisions. But I honestly believe that part of it is, you're at the center of everything that happens in your life. So if you're the common denominator, then, you're also the person that can fix it.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I think, I think rock bottom's interesting, and it is a real place, definitely. But it's also, if you've got there, you're also the solution to get out.
Agreed. I actually mentioned in a reel actually just the other day when I posted it, was talking about choices and
Yeah.
everything I've come across in every single guest. It's always come back down to choices. No matter how hard it is, it always comes back to choice. And actually, there's a great quote in this book. This guest would have been released by the time this our episode goes out, but she said it says in there, and she's quoted somebody else, and I can't remember who said it, but it said change often occurs when pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of making a change. And I'm like, wow, it's so true, isn't it? Yeah, and I do think I've always, before I came across her and that quote, I was always asking the guest, do you think we as humans have to go through a crisis point in order to create a change? And I always, some people would dissect it and go, no, but it would only be like maybe 10% would say no. Most of us do believe something. I just can't get away from it. I think most of us do have to go through something in order to create that change. And I think that quote sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. And that is so true. It's like there's really only two motivators in life. It's pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
two reasons why you do anything.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
if you took away half of the choices, which is pain, and you only had pleasure left, how far are you going to get off pleasure?
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? So like pain is essential when you're talking about changing your life or making transformation or anything like that. Like the reason why people can make such huge transformations is because they're running away from pain.
Yeah.
It's not because the pleasure's so good that that's dragging them forward.
Very true. Yeah. I agree. And I honestly do think we've replaced pleasure. We've replaced happiness with pleasure now. We're
Oh, yes,
constantly chasing pleasure, aren't we? And
for sure. For sure. And we'll get to that, later on in the episode about pleasure and the forms of pleasure that we chase.
yeah,
But it's false. It's every time you get the thing,
yeah,
what's next? You're always looking for the better thing. Like we're, as humans, we're programmed in that way. Like you can't escape that. So yeah, I truly believe that as painful as some elements of pain are, it's essential in anything.
mm,
Even in conversations, like you have conflict, or we all have times where you have to make that hard phone call, or you have to have that hard conversation. Like it's uncomfortable to have to do that,
yeah,
but afterwards, most times, it ends. The relationship can get a lot better from going through a hard conversation.
yeah, absolutely. With that 9 that you said at the beginning of the episode that you currently sat at in your mental health scale, would you say what's the best word to describe that? Is it happiness or is it contentment?
The best way, the best word to describe it is peaceful.
Mm,
It's peaceful. It's content. It's not having to. I guess it's understanding that I'm at a certain point where I'm like I'm at peace with where I currently am. I know there's more, but I'm not operating from that sort of ego-ness that I need to, have more today. And like, it's not driven by greed or ego-ness. It's driven by, I guess, peacefulness and contentment, knowing that what's meant for me is for me. And as long as I continue down the right path, making the right choices, having integrity, showing up for other people, showing up for myself, that those things will happen. It's written in the universe. It has to happen. So you have. I guess I have such great trust and faith in myself now that I'm not sort of trying to get things anymore. I'm just accepting things as they are,
yeah,
and being a lot more sort of at peace with how that comes along. rather than trying to control every situation that comes. And, you want something and it doesn't come the certain way that you thought it was going to, but things happen and they'll work out.
Yeah.
And just having that trust and faith, and sometimes it's blind faith. Like people are like, how are you so calm about that? I'm like, it's got to happen. Like it's not the way you want it to happen, but it will come.
Because you're putting your mind into that mindset of going in that direction, aren't you, as well? It's like neuroplasticity, isn't it?
Exactly. And you basically, you create, I honestly believe you create the life that you want. Now, it doesn't mean you get it all at one go.
No. Not like $10 million appears in your bank just because you got the check, right?
But you work on your habits. You read the right books. You start to do the right self-development. You look after yourself properly. You make the right choices. You take care of your family. You work out negativity and you get away from those things, and you don't hang around people that aren't good for you, and all these things. You eat the right foods. No one has gone to the gym and just magically walked out one day with muscles and didn't do anything. Like it takes consistency and time and effort, and training and a greater goal that you constantly chip away at. And you do that. And yes, it takes time, but you do that for years on end and you keep going and things start to get good. And you just be grateful along the way while you have that.
You use the word peaceful, and looking at you and talking to you, and ever since I've met you, you just have always sent off that vibe as peaceful. I think it was tactical why you used it, but everything I know about you and your journey and where you take us today is far the opposite of peaceful, right? It's loud, it's noisy, it's busy. If you could list, I don't know, 3 words that would, as topics, the way you're going to take us today. You said about the drive, and maybe that pleasure hits, those dopamine hits. Words that use the word dopamine, but yeah, where if you could tell the viewers now what topics, give us 3 topics that we're going to discuss today, just to go for those who are wondering where we're going to take this.
It's a good question. Okay, we can go. Well, let's go the first one: addiction.
Yep.
We can go there. I guess ego driven is another thing that makes you. I think it makes your judgment misguided is a good word for it, and you see things in a different way than what is really happening. And we all know your actions follow your belief, and that's you end up in places that you look back now. I look back now and like, wow, like I was there. Like it was, it's quite a crazy thing to look back at and understand that that's a place or time or phase of my life that I was in. And then I think another big thing with me was relationships as well. And with the relationships, I guess that's a broad topic, but relationship with self is a big one, and then obviously that relationship stems into your relationship with your friend circle, intimate relationships, and those sorts of things. But it all stems really from the relationship with yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, we start off now. People have got an idea roughly where we're going. We're going to shake you up a little bit and maybe tell us a little bit how you're leading your own way, because you're doing some wonderful things, but they're all completely separate, completely different, and it's crazy, and I love it. I'll let you take the lead on it. Where would you want to start then? Because the logo on the front cover might give it away. But there's 2 parts to this, so I can put different logos on. There's probably too many logos to put on the front cover of the episode.
Well, you put one up and we'll start there.
Yeah, okay. Well, where do you want to tell us what you do every single day? How you lead your own way in that way? Yeah.
Yeah, my daily routine is pretty set. I like to have consistency and routine, and I find that by having that over the last 4 or 5 years, it's really helped me develop my life in the right way. So on a typical day, it's a 4 a.m. wake up. I know that's not for everyone.
Maybe not tomorrow morning after I've kept you this late.
And by no means am I saying that, everyone has to be up at that time. They don't. But for me, because I have sort of 4 businesses there that I run and work in. So it's, for me, it's like the day gets so, I guess, demanding that time in the morning for me is the most important time of my day. So from 4 till 7, it's, meditate in the morning. That's a must. I need to have that time with myself. The connection that you create with yourself is vital for you to make good decisions throughout the day. Training, so whether it's running, the gym, whatever it might be. Usually 3 or 4 days of the week, I'll do an ice bath in the morning as well. So that's part of the routine. And then a good breakfast, protein breakfast, so eggs or something that's got a good amount of protein in it. And then I'll get ready and off to work. So the things there now, sometimes I do journaling in the morning. If not, I'll do it at night. So gratitude is a big part of, I guess, part of a transformation. If you're not grateful for the things you have already, then you trying to, get more things along the way, you're not going to be grateful for them either. And I guess gratitude is one of the keys to just being happy with where you are, where your feet are, So I might want things in 2 or 3 years' time, but if I'm not grateful for where I'm at right now and how far I've come in 5 years, then I'm not going to be grateful for where I'm heading. Mm-hmm. So I think gratitude for me is a big part of that as well. But most definitely that time in the morning, that block of time, whatever it's made up with, is my key time with myself and I do that because it's before the world wakes up. So, there's no phone calls, there's no text messages, there's no emails, there's no one. So
that's why you didn't respond to me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I kept texting you. Okay.
So I find that it's my time to connect with me. It's my time to process things for myself. I guess we all have, the inner dialogue of our own world. Whether that's something that you're carrying from yesterday that happened, or a conversation that you replay in your head from 2 days ago. We're all the same. We have a human experience. We all have these things, and if you're not able to sit with yourself at times and work through some of the inner critic that you have, the conversations with yourself that only you have with yourself, and it doesn't affect the outside world. Because if you're not able to process those things, you're going to take them along with you during the day.
Absolutely.
So every conversation you're in, you're angry about something that you didn't resolve, whether you resolved it in your own head or you had to resolve with someone else, but you're carrying that energy along. So, you do that. What do you mean? You talk to 30, 50 people a day. There's so much there that you haven't worked through, that you haven't let go of. And I really believe like that build up is where people get frustration comes from. And then, you put things on top, client doesn't work out, you have a car accident that day, all these sorts of things. It's not, a lot of the times the trigger is just that. It's just the trigger. It's not the core issue. So, I had the global CEO of one of the businesses out that I have it. I'll name it. It's called MiniMelts. It's an ice cream brand. So I had the global CEO here from, it's a 50 countries around the world. It's a top 500 incorporated company in the USA. So yeah, global CEO's out in Australia visiting, showing him around, picked him up at 10 o'clock and driving around the city, showing him different things. went to Bondi, whatever, driving past Woolloomooloo Wharf and get to the satellites and my car stops.
Oh.
So I have a new, like, it's a 2-year-old car, brand new, like it was brand new. It's not a cheap car. So it just turned off. And I was like, what happened here? So I tried to restart it, wouldn't start. So, I was just like, all right, well, let's call a tow truck and let's go to Chinatown. Like, it doesn't, some people would be like so worried about, oh my God, like this is, the worst thing and what are we going to do? And it's just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when they got the CEO of a global company in the car as well.
When I thought, oh, this is not good. It never happened to me before. But I was like, you know what? What are you going to do? Like
another test, yeah.
Yeah, it's a test. It's out of your control. What can you control?
Did you get it fixed at least?
Yeah, got it towed and worried about it, 2 days later.
And he still had a good time in Australia?
He still had a great time, had a great lunch, sorted some things out for the business, worked out some strategy, and it was great.
Great.
And they were great about it. It ended up a really great situation. Really, it was a really good lunch we had. But some people would be like, fretting. I guess, yeah, it is, I guess, to some degree. You don't want that situation coming up, but that's an example of things that happen, that just happen. Like it's not, it's not in your control that. So it's like, okay, well, what's the next best move rather than just, unloading and worrying about, oh my God, this guy's, global C, what are we going to do? Like this is the situation. What do we do now? Let's just go to lunch.
Absolutely. And morning routines, like not to put pressure on people who, feel like they don't have the time or they don't want the, the extra energy and all that. Absolutely. But side note, everyone I interview, morning routines just seems to be another layer of the conversation in every episode. Maybe we should be making more time to do that. Maybe we should, I'm going to be interviewing Cooper Chapman, and he has a book called, I think it's called The 1% Good Club. I think it's up there somewhere, and I need to read it because I'm interviewing him in February. And he said it's like just 1% of your day. I know you do a lot more, but 1% of your day is something like 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we not put 1% of our time away because people don't even spend 1% of their time looking after themselves.
No, that's right. And I honestly believe that, okay, fair enough, everyone doesn't have the same situation and the same capacity, and I fully understand that. People don't have their own businesses and they have to be at work at a certain time. And I was a construction worker. I was a plumber. So I was on site at 6:00 in the morning. Like I couldn't do the things I do now with that type of job, I guess, when I was employed by someone else. So I get it. Everyone's situation is unique to them, but I honestly believe that everyone can find something that works for them. So whether that means they can wake up half an hour and read 10 pages of a book,
Agreed. Yeah.
Like there's things that people can do.
Lift a few weights for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it's, maybe it doesn't work in the morning. Maybe they have to do it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like it's not saying that one way is right and anyone that doesn't do that, but I just believe that everyone has to work with the current situation they're in, regardless of, where they're at. And I guess there's always something everyone can be doing.
Just got to give it a try.
Yeah. And that's it. Like when I started that journey, I tried all different things. I tried different workouts. I tried I used to stretch in the morning. Then I started meditating. So I swapped things out that, different tools that I discovered along the way that, worked for maybe 6 months or 9 months. And then I swapped it out for something else. I didn't journal all the time. Then I got into that. Yeah, so it's just, I guess along the way, as you evolve, it changes with you.
Agreed.
And I think that's actually a sign of evolution, because if you're not growing and you're not changing and things aren't changing and you're not fluid with that, then I think that's an important ingredient that you have when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. MiniMelts. Then you've mentioned MiniMelts. This is part of we've obviously. I mean, actually, is there anything else on the morning routines that you do that you want to share before we get into the professional side of how you lead your own way? Because these are a big part of your journey as well, aren't they? Especially compared to where you came from as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, I think just the takeaway there for me essentially is the morning routine. Um, it literally sets your day up.
Yeah,
So it gives you the opportunity to basically guide your day with the way you see things and put yourself into the right state for you to go into that day. If you can wake up at 6:30, jump in the car at 6:40, you're rushing to work.
yeah,
How are you
yeah,
showing up?
yeah,
Have you
yeah,
eaten properly? Do you have a clear mind? The energy that you bring to the workplace is also, that's on you. That's your responsibility. And I've said it to my team. It's like, you know, a lot of them be like, oh, geez, you wake up. I said, yeah, like I pour that energy into myself in the morning. So when I show up at work, I'm a positive impact.
hmm
Now, I don't have to do all that stuff. I could literally turn up late if I wanted to and sleep in and not do any of that. But I choose to do this stuff because when I get to work, I want to be impactful to the team around me in a positive way. So I do things for myself that are positive. So when I get out into the world and I walk out the front door, I've already put all that energy into me, how I want to go out into the day.
yeah,
So I'm walking out a positive person with a good mindset already every morning.
yeah. Not to put too much humor into the dark story, but that, from what I remember from the pre-chat, was the exact opposite to what you did in the workplace. I know we're going to go down there later on, but
We'll go
you
there.
would be missing for days.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't walk out the door. but yeah, and I honestly think like, I guess the lessons that I learnt along the way is, why do I have that opinion now, and why do I see that as such an important part of showing up?
Mm,
Is because I did the exact opposite. I didn't show up,
yeah,
literally.
yeah,
But
literally.
so I really put a lot of emphasis on that now because I'm like, well, I know that this version works and I see the impact it has on other people. So I'm like, well, if that's working, I'm going to keep doing that until it's not working. Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to change something. But I guess it just shines the light on me for the reasons why I do things and the impact it has. And if that's a positive, then we keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we will touch on MiniMelts because MiniMelts is a huge brand in Australia. Everyone in Australia's heard of it, and I got you on, so that's amazing. But you're doing other things outside of that as well, aren't you? You're doing a little bit around coaching. I wanted to start with the Sovereign Path first. Can we go into
Sure.
Sovereign Path first? Would that be okay?
Yeah, not a problem at all. Um, and yeah, I guess the sovereign path came around through the journey of self discovery and really understanding who I was and who I wanted to become. And I guess that stems from, I guess, my past and my history and those sorts of things. But it now gives me a purpose to go out and help other people. It's generally entrepreneurial men or women or whatever that are trying to, break free from I guess their own patterns and their own shadow and become, lead their own way in the sense of the words, because we all have the ability to take control of our lives and basically design our life as we want to. We don't always have to adhere to the systems and do everything that everyone tells us to do. There is another way, and I guess it takes a lot of strength and courage to go after the life that you actually want,
Mhm.
which which takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage, a lot of self-belief, those sorts of things. But yeah, after doing that myself, I think just being able to create like you've done, create a space for people to come into, and having walked that path, and don't get me wrong, I'm still on it, but definitely not, not through it by any means, not all the way, but I think I'm a testament to what you can achieve if you decide to really take full accountability and control of your life, and set some goals and really go after them properly, and commit to the life that you want. And the Sovereign Path was a byproduct of my own journey. So kind of just came about. I didn't set out, at the start of the whole thing and had that up there on the vision board, but I think it's just became a byproduct of the journey that I was on. And actually got approached by a client, and he's like, would you, mentor me? And I was like, this is where it all started. So I was like, yeah, it's a great opportunity to I think it gave me a sense of giving back in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of, I feel like it's given me the sense of purpose now. It's a different avenue than what I've done in my other businesses, but I didn't really do it with the purpose of, I guess, financial goals weren't the reason. I think it's given me a reason to give back to people, to other people who are trying to do the same thing in their life. And it's like I see myself in them, and that's a great motivator and driver to want to help someone else.
Yeah. So you're essentially helping other businesses, small, build up. Is that the target market really with that? Who will come to you for support? Yeah.
And I guess I've been through a lot of stages in business as well, and not just that. It's a full life thing. It's not just your business, because I don't believe if you own a business, as much as we all think that it's separate from us, it's a part of us. When it's you are the owner and you are the director and the reason why it works.
You have a relationship with that business, don't you?
Yeah, it's like your business is your biggest self-development tool. Like it is. It's self-development through the use of your business. It makes you grow. It forces you to grow. From all the small things like hiring staff, managing people, managing clients, difficult people, having difficult conversations, putting boundaries in, having to deal with money. If you have, money blocks and money issues and things like that, it forces you to look at these things. So it really is a huge self-development tool, where anything that you need to work on, it shows you the gaps.
Definitely.
And it's a journey. So yeah, I think it's helped me in my own journey, and sort of, take my own life into review and look back. But it also gives me the ability to help other people on their way through as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I love that.
Kind of like an evolution. It's what it's kind of evolved into.
And that's one of the 5 businesses, I take it.
Yeah.
How do you find time? How do you allocate that time? Where do you slot them in outside of all the other 4 businesses then? How does that work?
So, yeah, like the coaching stuff I obviously do at night and selectively.
Yeah, okay.
So that's something that, at this stage, it doesn't take up time in my businesses. It does take up time in my personal life. So I have to be mindful of how I juggle that.
Yeah.
Which is why I do keep it relatively tight and small at the moment. But then obviously structuring things in your other business is so important. And also you have people in your businesses that are good at their job, and you can, You can feel safe and secure that they know what they're doing, and being able to have a great team also allows you to have some of your time back. So yeah, it's important. I think when you're building a business, building a great team is crucially just as important as the business itself, because essentially you work through people. I think any business, when you start up 0 to 2 million, 3 million, you can grind your way through it and push and slog it out and do all that stuff. But I mean, after that and onwards, if you don't have the team, you can't scale a business without. You can only get so far if you don't work through people.
Yeah, absolutely. So outside of the coaching, your background really is your background originally was around the plumbing tradesman industry, wasn't it? And you started that quite a long time ago. And you still involved with all of that as well?
Yes, yeah. So I have a plumbing company, and we specialize in medical gas installation. So it's very niche and unique. And I started my apprenticeship in 2001, straight out of school. So that taught me a lot along the way. I was a sole trader there for a while, did my apprenticeship, was a sole trader, and was subcontracting. And then the guy that I was actually subcontracting to, that I'd worked with my whole apprenticeship and into my journeyman plumbing short career of journeyman plumbing, and got into he offered me, did we want to go into partnership together? So that was my first sort of entry into business, where we're going to have staff and things like that. So obviously sole trader, I had my own business, but it's just you. It's so it's a bit different. But then we decided to start it together, keep the same work, keep doing the same thing, and we built that company together. And it was my first introduction into business, and I didn't really know at that time. I was like, like having a business sounds cool, but I was like, I didn't really know what to expect fully. So going into it was, I think it was scary. I actually think it was just a bit of naivety and not knowing what it would be like, because you'd never done it. And I always had him there. So in a way, it was kind of like there's a safety net when you do co-ownership with someone, and he's a lot older and he's been doing it a long time. So that felt good. And then, yes, we started that business in 2011, and then he actually got lymphoma cancer. So it sort of took a bit of a hit on him, and he was out of the business for 2.5 years. So he's fine today. Everything's good. So good. He's worked through that. So, but yeah, he sort of come out of the business for 2.5 years, and obviously I knew enough about it and been sort of running it sort of anyway by myself for a little while without him there. And then, I really sort of got into it, and we had the opportunity to take on all these jobs. So I just kept saying yes. And I got all my soccer mates that I knew that were plumbers, and I was like, oh, I've got a job. You rally all the troops up. And we built something really good. So time we come back in 2014, we had 15 guys.
Amazing.
So it was good. It was a good growth period in that business. And then I started another. It's a commercial services company with another 2 directors or 2 partners. We started that in July of last year, 2025.
Energy and time. Tell everybody the name of that though. So that's pronounce it. Fortis, is it?
Fortis X Commercial. Yeah, that's right. So that business is it's a great pathway for bringing other works into the group. It's more of a commercial services company where we do roofing, obviously commercial plumbing and commercial building, and it gives us the ability to bring in, I guess, different trades and different kind of work. The other plumbing company with the medical gas is very much a special vehicle business. It's designed particularly to do a certain niche market of plumbing, and it's a great business in and of itself. But the other Fortis X is going to give us the ability to really grow that, far beyond anywhere that we want to go to. We can take on building works, maintenance for plumbings, maintenance for shopping centres, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really going into that with an open mind, that business, and really seeing where the edges are and where we can go with that one. So
yeah, I mean, you only opened it last year. What, by Christmas? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I wrote it down, so I'm assuming I am. But by Christmas, you turned over what? You can say it.
Yeah, just under 500,000. So yeah, it's
insane.
It's going well. So yeah, and I think that's important. When the opportunity come up, obviously being in plumbing, you have different opportunities that come along, and I seen an opportunity there with a client that we were doing some very small works for, and then they really wanted to put some time and energy and effort into their infrastructures and really build something or maintain their businesses in a quite a deep way with their infrastructure of their building. So it was a good opportunity. It lined up, and I was like, well, if I'm ever going to separate things now's the time. And the timing worked out well. So just structuring things differently is also really important, I guess, with businesses. When you have a few different things going on, you need to also think about protection as well. How you structure things, one impacts the other, and that also becomes a bit of a chess game that you have to. And obviously, it's all in. I guess you don't want to have to worry about that because you presume everything's going to go well, but you also have to be mindful that you have to protect different assets that you have along the way.
Mm.
And structuring is one thing. So that's another part of business that you don't just get taught. No one tells you these things. You kind of learn as much as you can, and then you learn the rest out along the way.
Yeah. That's right.
So yeah, that business is a really great opportunity for us to really grow something, and we can really take it in many different directions with the building works and getting maintenance works and new work for commercial services as well. So it doesn't really have like a cap on it. So it gives us the opportunity to have a bit more freedom with where we take it.
Yeah. And going back to 2011, when you first opened your first business, not having that business knowledge, as you mentioned, obviously you've learned those skill sets as you've grown up. And going into your MiniMelts story, there's a great journey of how that was how that came about for you. Apart from obviously the business that you opened last year for Fortis X, I'm pronouncing that right? Fortis X. Obviously that you opened MiniMelts, you took over MiniMelts before you opened that one, but without the things you'd been through prior to 2024 when you got MiniMelts, you wouldn't have been without that knowledge, you wouldn't have been able to acquire that company in the manner in which you did. It's a fascinating story. First, tell us how big MiniMelts Australia really is, and then obviously go into your journey of how you came about. Because obviously this is quite separate to everything else that you're involved in.
Yeah.
But I feel, I might be wrong, but with what I know from you and the vibe that you get, is this your main? I mean, you probably shouldn't say that in front of your other colleagues because they're like, oh, he prefers that business.
Yeah.
Is it your main business? Is MiniMelts your main job? Like,
I wouldn't say it's the main business. I would say it's the business that takes up the most of my time at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my main business, because obviously there's different ways of, I guess, judging your business, But yeah, I wouldn't say it's the main business. I would say it takes up the most of my time at this stage.
Nice swing. I like
Yeah,
that.
which it will for, obviously there's each business goes through different stages. So, right now it's heavy on my time and my implementation
Yeah.
to get it to where I need it to get to. And then, you bring other people in and you can slowly, step away. So
Yeah.
as you grow it, bringing in the right team members and things like that, you can buy back some of your time. And you give people the opportunity to really make their mark and have their input and really bring their skills and showcase what they are capable of and what use their skill sets. So it gives you the opportunity, I guess, to allow people to come along on the journey with you. And by doing that, you then do get the ability to step back. So I guess at the start when you're starting something, it's hard because it's you and whoever you start it with. So everything that has to get done is basically, you look around, there's no one else.
Yeah.
So
That's how I feel right now.
exactly, right. So you look around, there's no cleaner, there's no person putting all the stock away, there's no person driving the truck, so you're like, it's me again. And I guess that can get a little bit disheartening at times when you're pouring all this effort into and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. So if there's anyone out there that, does feel that way about their current business, obviously having the goalposts of, remembering that, I guess the goal is to bring people in so you can grow it. And that can be scary too, because some people don't want to let go of the thing they've built. So that's also, that's also another element. So it's like, I'm going to bring someone in, but it's my thing and I don't want them to touch it.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit of a,
I get that completely, Shaun. Like, I get like 50 messages a day, people wanting to take over my production. And I'm like, no, I like the way I do it, and I might like the way you do it, but I can't afford to pay you anyway.
Yeah, that's
I need
right.
I need some sponsors. I've got one sponsor, but I need more sponsors.
And it's a trap. You get stuck in that messy middle, right? Where it's, you're kind of damned if you do, and then you're so unsure of the path forward if you do that. What happens in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time when you can't pay them? And so there's so many unknowns to the whole scope of it. So, it does get difficult, and I guess that's why people say, "Oh, business is hard," and it is. It is hard. It's not for the faint-hearted, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's also very, very rewarding. When you are able to hit certain milestones. It does become quite rewarding, and it doesn't mean that things don't go wrong, because they still do.
Of course.
People still leave. You still got to jump back in.
But because you do the morning routines, you can handle them pretty well, right?
Then things happen, and it doesn't throw you into a spiral, and you're not negative about. You're just able to take things on, and it's okay. We'll work through it.
So how many people work at MiniMelts then?
So MiniMelts, there's 4.
Yeah.
And then I have an accounts lady that she sort of works across the group. So she's a sort of a floater that works across all of it.
Yeah, nice.
And then we have a couple of external people that we use as well for marketing and things like that. So they're not full-time in the business. So there's three of them that are sort of external. But 4 in that business. And then there's between the other 2 plumbing companies there's 17 all up. Yeah.
Nice. And MiniMelts literally is you all over Australia, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So we have expanded. We aren't in Victoria yet.
I was going to say, I want some,
working on
and
that.
I can't get it ananywhere.
That's the one state we haven't really penetrated yet. So
the main state. Come on.
I know. we're working on it. Don't worry. But we've
samples at the door, please.
You have to give me the address. I can send them to you.
No worries. Definitely.
We've got a sub-licensed partner there in Western Australia who's it's hard for a national business to really incorporate that fully in Western Australia. It's the time loan, even just to travel, it takes a lot of time. So he builds that out he's bought the license for that and builds that out, but it's still part of the MiniMelts brand.
Yeah.
And then the other ones we manage ourselves internally. And then we've just launched into New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
So the container arrived on Sunday, first container.
Oh, congratulations. Amazing.
So yeah, spreading our wings into New Zealand now. So
love it.
Yeah, so it's 2026 will be a big year.
And your journey of how you got into MiniMelts is quite fascinating. Could you share that with us before? Because obviously I really want to get into your childhood as well, of how this all came about and where you took us on the journey. But I love how you got this and the knowledge and the depth of how you went about it. It's fascinating. Just taking a very quick break to thank our sponsor, SU Skincare. If you haven't heard of them, SU Skincare started right here in Australia, using Australian ingredients to make skincare straightforward and accessible, especially for men who want results without the fuss. Their journey took them all the way to the US, where they were featured in Macy's and over 300 stores. Now they're back with a fresh approach, focusing on healthy skin and authenticity for everyone. I'm proud to have SU Skincare as a sponsor on Leading Our Own Way. See the show notes for their website and to see how you can keep your skin healthy and confident. And if you're interested in sponsoring like SU Skincare, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Now, right back to the episode.
Yeah, so we had, so me and my sister, Nicole, we bought the license for MiniMelts Australia and New Zealand. And it was kind of at it. So I also have a business coach myself, and I'm in a coaching program. So that's also something that, does take up a lot of, a good portion of my time as well. It's something else you've got to fit in. But I also believe that if you're going to learn from the people that are doing the thing you want to do, then that's the direction, right? You don't know everything. And I think if you're going to go into something and want to develop a certain area in your life, the best people you can learn from are the people that are doing the thing that you want to do. So having that business coach at the time, it all kind of came together at the one, I guess, divine timing. But yeah, me and my sister bought the license for Australia and New Zealand. When we were going through that process, I had the one plumbing company, and we actually went to a seminar for the business coach, and we went there, did the day, and we're like blown away. And I was like, we need to sign up to this. So that was one part of it. And then my sister actually knew a family friend that was already distributing the product. So, and they said that the person who was distributing the product was going to sell the business. So we're like, okay. And then they said, would you want to look at it? I was like, okay. Well, I never thought I would want to own an ice cream company. I'm very much like, my health and my fitness and those sorts of things are really important to me. So I was like, didn't really ever think an ice cream company would be part of my goals, I suppose. But in all, it's a business, and I guess business is what gives me the drive. And it's not just about, I guess, it's ice cream, or it could be a plumbing company or whatever it might be. At the end of the day, you're either providing a service or a product, and you have customers, and so I guess the business side of things is what drives me. And then we got offered the opportunity to have a look at it. So like, okay, so this kind of came about at the same time as seeing the business coaching seminar, and sort of, okay, well, this could be good. So we flew down to have a look at it. It was actually in Melbourne. So flew down, had a look at the machinery and all the different parts to it. And we're like, okay, well, yeah, could be something. We went back, did a lot of research on the brand, and we realized that when I was doing this, this is a global brand, and I'm like, it's in 50 countries around the world. It's an incorporated top 500 company in the USA. So I mean, that's an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah.
Publicly, they're doing 320 plus million a year in revenue as a across the broad group of all the countries, and it just didn't make any sense. And I was like, how could this brand be so globally recognized, and in Australia there's you can't find it. There's no social posts since 2017. There's no, so I was like, it's very strange and weird. So I was like, okay, so obviously throughout the time of my business career so far, I've been through many situations that you learn. So you do all your checks, and you make some phone calls, and you ring the right people, and you start to put two and two together and start to find out the way he runs the business, and the way he gets customers to pay for things. And you're like, okay, this nothing adds up to the way that you would normally run a business. So obviously going into that raises the alarm bells.
Yeah.
So long story short, understanding that, okay, this is a great opportunity, but what he's offering doesn't seem to match what the rest of the globe sees on their social platforms for the brand. So then we got in, I got the global CEO's email and just started emailing me out of the blue. So I'm from Australia, really interested in the brand, pretended like I knew nothing about it, and then got some feedback. And I was like, okay, so now I'm starting to understand that what's happening, that, it's very disconnected from the global brand, what's happening in Australia. So I was like, okay, so then put two and two together and understood he hasn't gone about things the right way. So that's when you see that, and there's someone trying to sell you something and it's not, I guess, all above board, your first instinct is to walk away, which is, what you would think first off. But it's like, well, fair enough, but there's got to be some gold in all this, right? At the very bottom of the barrel, there's got to be something down there. So yeah. I guess knowing it's like, okay, well, this is a great opportunity, but maybe it's just not the great opportunity in the way that we thought it was going to happen, but it can still happen. You just got to go about it a different way.
Got to unpack it.
So yeah, unpacked all the parts that didn't work, and realized, we don't want anything to do with that, but how do we get the license instead? So yeah, then obviously started chatting with the global CEO and started developing a relationship, and then the coaching come in at the same time. We joined up to the program, and the mentor's, well known in Australia, and he's been through so many parts of business that, he's got, I think, 84 investments himself in business. So if you want to learn how to have multiple businesses, you got to learn from the person doing it. So yeah, to be able to work out that, and then obviously join that program, and the timing of this came together all at once, and then being able to put together a deal that, I was able to pitch to the global CEO, and yeah, I guess some of the learnings that I learnt very early on in the coaching program about deals and things like that, different things that I didn't know either. So, and put them into play, and actually leverage off some of the information I learned straight away, and put it into play, and we've got it done. So it was a really good opportunity, a really good learning curve. And, sometimes I think it's a testament to, you've got to back yourself and you've got to go for it. If you really believe that you have the ability to do that. And for me, it's a challenge too, because it's an industry that I'd never been in. Uh, it's a business I hadn't sort of worked across that industry before. That if it's a product or a service, even a product business is different. So yeah, it was a complete, I guess, sea change from anything that I'd done before. But I wasn't, I guess, having that self belief in myself, which I'd built up over the last 4 or 5 years, um, in not just in my personal life, but that translates into every other part of your life as well. So being able to build that self confidence and self belief, where we all face fear, and I think like going into that deal, you get to the almost the final hurdle, and you get doubt and you get fear, and you're like, no, okay, you're able to look at fear and in a different way, and it doesn't stop you from taking action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that first year of MiniMelts, I remember you telling me, I think it was only meant to be something like 2 containers come over, just to put things in perspective of that drive and how well
Yeah.
it went for that first year is why I'm saying it. But it wasn't 1 or 2 containers for that first year. It was more like one a month, wasn't it? 12 over the year.
Yeah. So our I guess our agreement um, with the global company is, there's a certain amount of container MOQ for the first, second, third year. So yeah, 2 containers was the target, and we did in the first 12 months we did 12 containers, and we've done another 2 containers since, so we're up to 14 containers. So
We'd have been happy with you.
it's yeah, it's been a great ride so far. It's definitely had its challenges, like any growth that you have at that speed. It also has, the back end of that. You also feel the pain of growing as well.
Mm.
Growth it's an amazing thing to experience and feel, and there's lots of, I guess, happy moments in all of that and achievements, and obviously never taking away from that, because that's, one of the reasons why you want to do that. But obviously, yeah, on the flip side of that, growing that quickly, there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that. So you feel both sides. And yeah, not every single deal we did during that first 12 months worked out, and we've learned some lessons
Of course.
from one of them especially. But I think that's all part of the journey. And I think the whole point of everything you go through is literally teaching you something. And I honestly believe that, your life, whether it's in business or your personal life, or relationship that you're in, intimate friends, whatever it might be, that you have to live every part of that experience moving in a forward direction, because the days don't stop. Everything keeps moving with or without you, whether you're on board or not. But the true essence of life, it only actually makes sense when you look back and reflect. So it's like you have to live your life moving forward, but it only makes sense when you look backwards.
I know you obviously went through a crisis point in order to develop this mindset, but did it go any further back than that, like from childhood? Did you go through any difficult times as a child in order to help, not help, but paint that mentality? Because, yeah, I mean, you went through a few things when you were a kid, I remember, but you were a calm dude. You can't. Were you always shy? Were you confident as a kid? Because you play. Me and you've got actually on that note, we've actually got something quite in common, right? I know I'm a basketball player, and that's not the thing that's we've got in common. But we probably should start with that actually, because I didn't know until the pre-chat when I met you. We've got something quite closely in common from where I'm from.
We
Don't
do,
we?
yes.
If you remember,
We do, yes.
pretty cool.
The
Tell us.
the generational upbringing. So yeah, my father, my dad is from England. It's from Redcar near Middlesbrough. So he's from England, and he met mum in Australia when he came over here. So yeah, that's the connection there is a English heritage.
But there's
So
something a little bit more connected than that, though.
yeah, so my with his footballing.
Yeah.
So my dad, he was quite a quite an amazing footballer at his age. He grew up in England, as I said, and obviously the mentality. I mean, you get it, Andy, obviously, but I mean, any boy in the UK, in England, it's almost a religion. Is football? You know,
Yeah.
it's such a embedded part of their psyche as children, and it's what they grow up with, and you know, it's literally the thing that a lot of kids in that country live for. And you know, my dad was no different, and his family was no different. So he grew up playing football, and he was quite good. And he got to a point where he played for Middlesbrough youth team when he was 12. He ended up playing for the England schoolboys when he was 12, 13. And then he moved on to playing for Manchester United when he was 15. So, you know,
Come on, man, you.
in that era, you know, he's what he would have been. 1965 was the era that he was in at 15. So he was on track there, you know, he was after the Busby Babes and all that, but he was on track to play, you know, obviously under 15s, you're playing for arguably the best team in England. The future's looking pretty good, you know, for a young guy who's obviously devoted to football. So yeah, it's an opportunity that he really had, and then unfortunately my grandfather was quite ill, and they, you know, the cold climate in England with what he had and the respiratory issues and things like that were really going to shorten the lifespan. So they had to make a very tough decision and move to Australia. So, yeah, I think obviously Dad, you know, wanted to stay, and as much as he wanted to stay, he was also the oldest of the family in regards to the children, and I guess with my granddad being so sick, I guess it needed that some sort of, you know, being the older boy, the presence of the oldest child was essential with the growing the rest of the family. So they all moved to Australia. So,
but I would have hated that if I was at that level. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, Dad.
How was your dad when he got here? Sorry.
Obviously, I've spoke with him about it. He was obviously gutted. You know, that's a dream and all that kind of things. He obviously played football when he was here, and back then, it's a bit different the way it was all set up. Obviously, to the way it is now, there's A-League and all the other stuff that we have now, but they never had any of that back then. But they had like their Premier League version, which, you know, they had a lot of great players as well playing in Australia still back then, but they had like St. George and Apia and Leichhardt and all these teams that were, I guess they're more of the Premier Division now, but that used to be the top tier in Australia. So he played for them, and he, you know, still made a good bit of a career of football in Australia, but obviously it's not England, but, you know, so he's, you know, something that I guess part of his journey is that, you know, he went through that. So he also ended up having a great family. So he got me and my sisters from it. So,
and you played football too?
I did. Yes. For
many level
years.
Yourself, right?
Yeah, I did. Played Premier League and didn't quite make, you know, NSL back then or A-League, but yeah, I was played Premier League and a few semi-professional. So got some money out of it, and I enjoyed it. Played for, I think I started when I was 4, and I played till I was like 32 or something. So yeah, a lot of years.
You probably make more money doing what you're doing than in the A-League now, anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. The A-League's, it's hard. You know, they don't get paid there's not the recognition
No,
for the effort that they put in. It's not like it is playing overseas.
no. And it's really far away from everything as well, so people just don't watch it, you know.
Nah,
How long has it taken the is it MLS? How
MLS,
long it's
yeah.
taken? I mean, that's great now, isn't it? With people like Messi over there, people are well into it, but that took a long time for
Yeah,
it to
and
get to that level.
they built that out, and they got, I guess, bringing the star players in has a big impact on the whole brand of the competition, to get people involved and get people watching. So, but it's also, I guess, funding all that, to bring those players in. It's not cheap, even if they are technically at the end of their career, but it's still, they're still quality players, and they're still bringing crowds. So, I mean, you look at Beckham. What was his shirt sales was ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So,
Absolutely ridiculous. I know. I mean, even Ronaldo going back to United, it was just
oh
ridiculous.
yeah, that number
Isn't it?
7 shirt is,
Next level, isn't
it's
it?
had some players, some really iconic players.
It definitely has. Yeah, it really, really has. So, did
Yeah.
you playing at that level? Well, being a good footballer in Australia, surely it would have given you heaps of confidence.
Yeah, so you would think that. I was actually quite a shy kid,
Mm.
and I think our childhood, does shape in our formative years. It does shape how we grow up, and how we show up in different scenarios and age brackets that we live in. But for me, it was, I was actually a very shy child. So, I didn't really get the confidence, even though I was good at football and good at sport and athletic and things like that. I was good at cross country, um, those sorts of things. It didn't really transpire into the other parts of my life. So I was quite a shy child. I had other things that were happening too. I had braces when I was 12 years old, and I had glasses, and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, I
you
had them
get
too.
you get the bullying and those sorts of things from school, and all that
Knocks your
kind of
confidence a
things
little bit more.
knocks your confidence. And I wasn't, I guess, with mum, I was very much protected by my mum, which obviously I love my mum dearly, and we all do the best we can. And she protected me a lot as a child, and I was the only boy, so I got spoiled. Um,
Me
you
too.
know,
I'm spoiled too.
and
Yeah, yeah.
if it's not a bad thing. It's just that's the pathway that I was living, and I guess unconsciously, took advantage of that. Like, I didn't leave home till I was 29.
Yeah, I was 28.
So, like, I played a part in that, and but yeah, getting out into the real world, I guess it wasn't something I did till later on in life.
Mm.
So, I guess the comfort of home, and mum being such a great protector and mother that she is, it's like I also allowed that, to really, I guess, delay the development stage of becoming into really turning into a man, and being able to really take on things and take on situations, circumstances, and really, create the life for yourself. Whereas I kind of, stayed at home, and sort of got everything done for me because it was comfortable and easy. So,
Mm.
that's part of the journey. So yeah, I was quite shy as a child, and I didn't really, everything I did when I was younger was all about football, and I guess I got that from dad. So every Christmas, like, literally the only thing I ever wanted was the new Manchester United kit. I didn't care about any other present. It was just the new kit.
Of
And
course.
every year, new kit.
Yeah.
And
I
I
love that you
played.
say kit too, because Aussies don't say kit.
No, that
That's all I cared about. Like, had to have the new kit with the socks and everything. So that was my, I was very dedicated to that phase, and I guess I put a lot of time and effort and energy into that, and I didn't really, go out or really worry about drinking or any of that stuff till I was, 24. Really, I was everything from young age through to like early 20s was football.
Yeah.
So I didn't get exposed to, I guess, some of the other things out there that probably kids these days get exposed to it. Who knows now, 12, 14.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I think I was very sheltered along that journey in those years anyway. I made up for it later on, but
you did.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the path, so that's fine. That was what it was. And I guess I think mum's intentions were always pure and trying to keep me away from that stuff. And she did a great job. I was so focused on football, I didn't want to go out.
Yeah.
So
did she do too good of a job?
Yeah,
but then obviously
probably.
Yeah, it's right though, isn't it? It's like that rebellion, even though you didn't consciously rebel against it because you love your football so much. And I was the same. Basketball took me off the streets, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, when you get a bit older, then because it's not been such a big thing, then you start to go out. Did it go the opposite? Do you think that's the reason why it went the opposite way? Maybe.
I think it was coupled with a few other, I guess, childhood traumas that I went through personally that probably didn't look like that from the outside. I had a very normal childhood from what everyone would say. I had great parents. I lived in a middle class house, and like didn't struggle as such. I mean, I know mum and dad worked very hard to do everything they did, but I mean, we had a pretty decent childhood. By no means were we. I mean, as kids, we didn't feel, like we struggled. I'm sure mum and dad didn't expose us to everything, so there's probably parts of it where we don't know exactly what they went through to make it all happen. But from the outset, yeah, it's you wouldn't think I had a normal childhood. I had a great family. Mum and dad are together. Like, had the brothers and sisters, and we had a normal middle class upbringing. It was fine. I went to a private school, so had had great opportunities as well. Like with being able to go to private school like St. Greg's, it's an all boys school, but it's it's a good school in Campbelltown. It's like one of the best schools in Campbelltown that you can go to, and I'm sure mum and dad, had to give up a few things in their life probably to make that happen. But yeah, you wouldn't say by any means that anything bad, happened. But I think for me, my way of dealing with things as a child was through disassociation. So as a traumatic response to things that happen. So I didn't really ever feel like I was in my life, if you know what I mean. It's like my life just happened and I kind of just disassociated from it. So if you ask me now, what was your 13th birthday like when you entered, your adolescent years? I'm like, I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first day at school like? I don't remember it. Like, so my trauma response to different parts of my life was disassociation. And with that, you don't recall a lot of the parts of your life because it's like you're there, but you're not living it. Mm. So you don't have that recall of certain things in your life, certain milestone moments that you would normally remember. And it was just, I guess it's there's freeze, fawn, flight, all these different sorts of trauma responses that as children we have, that we all at some point go through. So yeah, that's I guess that's part of that journey of my, I guess, inner child healing that we'll talk about coming up. But that was something that I went through, and I guess my way of dealing with what was happening around me, and it wasn't like I wasn't engaged enough into my life. So it's kind of like it just happened, and I was just a part of it, but I wasn't really living it. And I think that's that, along with the like protection and all that kind of stuff from my family and mum and all that. I think that's then flipped the switch for me as I grew through my 20s into my 30s. That kind of had an impact on the angle or the direction that I went during that phase of my life.
Because 24 was when you started drinking and things really changed for you, and where you really just wanted to be out all the time. Was it because it made you feel something, do you think? Did it bring feelings to the surface, and is that maybe why you went? I don't know, I'm just trying to guide it, to get inside, be the fly on the wall or a friend in your life at that moment in time,
Yeah, it's a good very good analogy, very good question as well. It's true.
That's part one with Shaun Piggott. And if you're feeling that pull in your chest right now, that's for a reason. Because when somebody speaks honestly about the weight they've carried, it gives the rest of us permission to look at our own lives without flinching. In part two, Shaun goes deeper into the turning points, the interventions, and, well, not an intervention, but you'll see where we're coming from, and the fight for honesty, and what it really takes to rebuild trust and rebuild yourself. That part is incredible too. That is pivotal. Make sure you're following. No, please remember, only 39% of my listeners do. So press follow now. And if you've got 30 seconds, a little review, you press a button, that's 5-star preferably, and it really helps the show reach the people who need to hear it the most. I'll see you in part two for Shaun and myself. But don't forget, Tuesday Truths will also be available beforehand. Little small bite size. Enjoy. Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.